What's up, people? It's your boy Slap. In this video, I'm going to talk about an unfortunate situation that ruined a young man's life. There was a guy from North Dakota who went to Miami for spring break. Okay, he went to a nightclub, met this girl. They were having fun. And they were chilling. They hooked up for about 5 days after that, and he went back to North Dakota. About 7 months later, he gets a phone call from the Florida Police Department. They want to question him because the girl he was with was actually 15 years old. Okay. He went back to Miami. So he gave a statement. He said he didn't know the girl was underage because since she was in the nightclub for 18 and above, he assumed she was 18. And he didn't force her. It was consensual. The police took down his statement. They said, thank you, and they arrested him. He was placed on bond for $40,000, right? Since he could not afford the 40 grand, he was in jail for about I think 7-8 months in jail. He stayed in some stuff like that. So he pretty much took a plea deal because he was facing 20 years in prison if found guilty, right? Took a plea deal. He was forced to register as a sex offender for the rest of his life. Okay? After taking a plea deal, after 5 years of his plea deal, he has been rejected from so many jobs. He couldn't find housing within the Miami ordinance since he's still in Miami. He couldn't find housing because he had to live 25 feet away. He could not live within 25 feet of a public or private school, daycare center, or playground. He was forced into homelessness. Okay, his college career was over in anything of having a productive life. Then, about 2 years ago, almost a decade after his conviction, he failed to properly register his whereabouts with the police department. So he was sent to prison for another 3 years. I don't know when this story happened exactly because I'm reading the article. It came out, the article I'm reading here, it came out about a few weeks ago. So I don't know when this actually happened, But the part that is how the whole thing got started was when the mother found out that her daughter went to this, pretty much the mother found out that she had sex with some dude. Then she called the police. Okay, so that's pretty much how the whole thing even got started. And let's look at it from another perspective. How do we, can you really fault the guy? Okay, he went to a nightclub, which is 18 years and above. The bouncers check the IDs. He didn't, sometimes you cannot tell if an ID is fake or not. You can't tell. You just don't know. So all that stuff was going on. He pretty much went to jail. Not to jail. He pretty much, did his thing. He had fun with the girl. So the fact that he's facing, the fact that he's registered as a sex offender is what boggles my mind. Do they seem to forget? Do the prosecutor in Florida does not seem to take into the account that this 15-year-old girl snuck into the club? Did they not take that into consideration? Did they not understand that? Did they not understand that it wasn't his intent to sleep with an underage girl? Because I can tell you right now, if you want to have a sexual relation with anybody, especially when you're on a college campus or when you're in like a nightclub setting, you're not going to ask for a person's ID to see how old they are. Because since you're in that environment, it's going to be automatically assumed that you are 18 and above. Like I don't hear these stories where I want to date a girl. I want to see how old you are first. Show me your ID before I mess with you. Like, who does that? You know? There are real pedophiles out there that go to high schools, they go to community college, they go to high schools and junior highs, and they do mess around with underage girls. Like, that's their intent. You know? But this guy's case is not the case. And the fact that we pretend like this shit doesn't happen, it does happen. There are so many girls today who look way older than their age. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like these girls did anything wrong because they're developed early. But some of these girls, they know they're developed. They go to these nightclubs, or they go to social events where it's 21 and above. They do these things. And yet they wanna then they should know better. Like, okay, I shouldn't be messing around with this guy. Because you can't blame the whole thing on the adult. Well, you should have known. Like, no. Like, this is what happened to the game recently. Like, there was a girl on, I think it was Instagram, right? This chick was very attractive, right? You can see her in like wearing this type of sexy clothing. Her titties were bulging out and everything, right? Then I think she later said that she later said that she's 16, or she told someone that the game hit me up, and she's only 16 years old, right? And the game was like, I didn't know she was 16. If I had known, I wouldn't even message her. You see what I mean? This is what's going on. This is what's really happening. These young girls today are fully developed. Even these guys are developed. Some of these young guys today are developed in a sense where like a guy who's 16 looks like they're, 21. It happens, Something's wrong with this society today. It makes no sense how a person's life can be ruined by a technicality. So because of one little incident, his life got destroyed. We don't know what he wants. We don't know what he could have been. But the fact that he's a sex offender for life, you can't do nothing. Think about it. What else can you really do? If you can't get a job and you can't find a place to live, you're done. You're done. Seriously. If you can't find a job, how will you take care of yourself? If you don't have a place to live, where will you sleep? And this is the problem that we're facing today in America. There's no more ethics. Some people are losing their lives, losing their careers over some bullshit. And the part that makes me annoyed is that, where's the justice? People are just saying, well, thank God that, people say, well, thank God that ain't me. And they keep it pushing. But this is the part that annoys me. Because I think we can do better. This is why I tell men, we need to stick together. We need to stick together. Because these women, they work together when it's time to take down a man. So we need to work together to protect ourselves. The girl should not have been there. But no one seems to like check that part of the story. No one ever says, you're right. They just say, well, it's unfortunate, and that's it. They don't even consider that the girl lied, and it's, oh my gosh, I don't know. I don't know. This is what's really irritating me because I feel like living here today, day and age, is so scary. Like, I have seen so many clips on YouTube where a woman will provoke a man, provoke him. If he says anything, she just screams rape. Okay? I've seen so many stories on YouTube or clips on YouTube where girls will, look for trouble, but play the victim. You know? There's so many guys, at least there's so many Uber drivers who have been accused of rape, who have been accused of sexual assault. And you're like, oh my God, these guys are assholes, like they're animals, right? But the problem is, are they true? Because there was one guy who recorded a woman who was being hella rude to him because he didn't have a charger in his car. And he was like, that's not a requirement of Uber to have a charge in your car. It's not a requirement. So he recorded her screaming at him. He recorded her saying that, I forgot about something about kidnapping her or sexual assault, some crazy shit like that. I can't remember the whole story, but that's what was going on. And now it's like, and it's just, I don't know. You know, nothing here is making sense anymore. And this is what really scares me, because there's so many good people out there who have been ruined by one offense. One offense. Some people have lost their lives, they lost their jobs, reputation, they lost everything by one offense. Right? And it's just like these women are never held accountable. In most scenarios, in most cases, they're never held accountable. I have seen so many stories in the news where women have been sleeping with underage boys, and it just boggles my mind. It's like, what the fuck would make these women fuck underage boys? I'm not saying it happened to me once in a blue moon. No, this shit is happening more and more and more. Like, seriously. When a man sleeps with a woman, we call him a pedophile, sex offender. But when a woman does it, we try to make this excuse that, oh, maybe she was stressed out, or they try to downplay the seriousness of the offense. This is what's going on in America today. This is what baffles my mind. This young man I'm talking about, his life was destroyed, ruined over a technicality. Okay? This man did not know that shit happened. He had no idea. Okay? So now his life was ruined his life has been destroyed. And Americans, we don't care. Americans don't give a fuck. They say whatever, that's his problem. That's how people talk. And that's what annoys me. That annoys me so much because it feels like a lot of people just say or do things that will, people say or do things just to get a reaction out of people, you know? This guy's gone to jail, and everyone knows it's not his fault, but no one seems to care. No one seems to care. I have seen so many stories this year alone where females have been sleeping with underage boys intentionally. A story that happened in, I think it was Michigan. A sexy woman, married woman, I think she had 2 kids, married, fine as fuck. And you can look this shit up. I think she's in Michigan. Sexy as hell. She got arrested for having sex with a boy who's 15 and 16 years old. And now, I think she's facing 4 to 15 years in prison now. There's another story that happened where a college student, 20 years old, college student, was arrested for having sex with a 14-year-old boy. Okay? I can name so many stories, but it doesn't change, doesn't make no difference. These women I've mentioned are doing it intentionally. Okay? People need to understand that we should not be punishing people who make mistakes. Especially when they didn't even know. You feel me? She's in the nightclub. How is he supposed to know that she was 15? Okay? But no one seems to care. Everyone just does whatever. That's not my problem. That's how people think. No one really cares out here about what happens to other people. Everyone here is just so crazy. Everyone in America is upset. Everyone in America is just mad. You know? Not mad per se, but I mean like, where's the ethics? You know? This shit makes me annoyed because it feels like, and you guys out here who think, oh, it's not going to happen to you, believe me. Anything can happen to anybody out here. Nowadays, anything can happen to anybody nowadays. So that's why you men have to understand what the fuck I'm talking about. Because I've said it before, there are so many girls out here who look older than their age. You mess around with them, this could be you. Because the courts don't sit there and say, well, the courts will never ask, what was the girl doing? All they're going to say is, well, since you were over 18, you should know better. That's how the courts see it as. So, you guys out here need to start to be more conscious of your society. Or, I mean, not society, be more conscious of your surroundings. Because there are too many girls out here. I've seen too many. There was a clip I saw a few days ago. You have these girls in Miami. They were like this high school cheerleading team. They were wearing sexy lingerie for, I think, one of like sports events. 16, I think high school kids. I think there was probably, I don't know, but there were these high school girls wearing lingerie. We all know what lingerie means, right? No one here is dumb. So, these women have motives, bro. I mean, I don't know if they have motives in the sense where they want to screw a guy over, but some of these girls, they do these things because they want to feel an adult. They want to be an adult, and they want to be an adult so quickly that they dress and act a certain way to get in certain environments, like nightclubs, concerts, and all that stuff. This is what they do. So you fellas out here who think, oh, it never happened to me, you better be careful because you never know. You never know. So be careful the people you talk to. Be careful the girls you surround yourself with, because I can tell you right now, there's nobody I know would ever ask a girl and say, give me your ID. Let me see how old you are. No one's going to say that. They're just not going to say that. They are going to assume your age by the way you talk and the way you act. Of course we meet someone, of course people lie about their age all the time, right? But you never know. So I'm just saying, fellas, be careful. Be careful. Be conscious of people you talk to and understand how things operate, because you may be the one that may go to prison for sexual assault and no one's going to come to your aid. Unless you're not having sex completely, that's totally different. You feel me? But you just got to be careful about who you talk to out here. And some of these girls out here are so developed that it could ruin your life. Anyhow, let me know what you think. Peace.